ESPN Sunday Night Baseball, Season 20 from Milwaukee. A player in baseball's postseason a year ago, the Brewer bats return intact, determined to play in October again. Their arch rival, the Cubs, led with intensity and with a lineup full of stars, they have a mandate for an even more successful 2009. The two teams began the series on Friday with the Brewers posting a dramatic comeback win. Last night, the Cubs proved turnabout was fair play with their own ninth-inning dramatics. Now, the rubber match.
Ricky's going. 300 games. It's over. It's over. A home run.
It's ESPN Sunday Night Baseball presented by Taco Bell. The end of baseball's opening week of the 2009 season, and the way the Brewers and Cubs have played this week, it feels like it's almost October already. The Cubs and Brewers, the rubber match of the series, they've had two sensational games here already, and the big crowd is gathering at Miller Park for this one. Hello, everyone. I'm Jon Miller, along with Steve Phillips and Joe Morgan. Happy Easter to you, and welcome to our 20th season of ESPN Sunday Night Baseball. Now, the Cubs and Brewers have developed a heated rivalry as two of the top teams in the National League Central. They finished atop the division last year. Cubs won it. Brewers with a wild card. The Brewers' signature is power. Lots of power, led by slugger Prince Fielder and also another young slugger, Ryan Braun. And Joe, he hit 71 home runs in his first two seasons, not even two full seasons for Braun yet.
Well, he's one of those special players, John, that comes along every once in a while. Last year, he had 37 home runs to go with the 34 he hit when he was Rookie of the Year in 2007. But last year, he also drove in 106 runs. He was an all-star starter. He was a guy that started at third base. They moved him to the outfield. He didn't make an error in the outfield last year. He's a special player, but the impressive thing for me is that he loves to be on the big stage. He loves to be the guy hitting when the game is on the line, and he has proven that he can handle those situations. You're looking at a guy that's going to be a star for a long period of time.
And the guy behind him isn't too bad either.
No, he isn't. Fielder.
All right, so we'll see Braun and Fielder, see a lot of them tonight. Now, the Cubs led the National League with 97 wins last year. They led the league in runs scored also. They've got instant offense at the top of the order. Their dynamic leadoff man, Alfonso Soriano, and Steve Phillips. Soriano is, without question, the most powerful leadoff man in the game today.
Well, the most impactful offensive players are the ones with that unique combination of power and speed. Alfonso Soriano has hit over 40 home runs in a season and stolen over 40 bases in a season. He's a very special offensive player. Now, his numbers with the Cubs have not been to that level over the last couple years, but they have every reason to believe this may be his best season ever. Committed himself to conditioning the offseason, went to the Cubs Dominican Republic facility to get in shape. He's in the best shape of his career, and he's off to a great start. 3 home runs in the first 5 games, including a game-winning home run here on Saturday night. So Soriano, a guy key to this Cubs offense, is swinging the bat well early.
And on this Easter Sunday, we'll be watching Soriano swing very shortly. He'll be leading it off against Jeff Suppan here. And just take a look at the crowd out there. It's a big crowd on this Easter Sunday. They're ready for some action. We've had 2 great games in the series already. Suppan is ready, the 34-year-old right-hander. He'll be throwing his first pitch to Soriano shortly. Bernie Brewer, hurry up. Let's go. The game's about to start. Here comes Bernie. We're ready to play ball in Milwaukee.
Oh, you liking your salad?
This isn't a salad.
Sure it is.
Salads have lettuce. Where's the lettuce?
Check under the cheese.
No.
Under the chicken?
Not here.
Maybe under the rice.
Look under the beans.
So it's technically a salad.
Technically.
Introducing Taco Bell's new fully loaded taco salads, available in chicken ranch or chipotle steak. The only thing that makes it a salad is the lettuce.
You think she's into me?
Technically? No.
Think outside the bun.
Announcing the Ford Advantage Plan, a better plan to get you into a new, quality-built Ford, Lincoln, or Mercury. Today, while others say there's no credit available, Ford Credit says there is. Financing as low as 0% APR. Check for pre-approval now at Ford.com. And with the Ford Advantage, if you lose your paycheck, we'll make your payments for up to 12 months. Quality, credit, and payment protection. That's the Ford Advantage Plan. Visit your Ford or Lincoln Mercury dealer today.
I hear what you're saying. I just don't do commercials. It's not my thing.
Conan, this is different. It's a ton of money,
and it's only going to be seen in Sweden.
Only in Sweden? All the Hollywood guys do this. This one commercial couldn't hurt. Bud Light.
Vroom, vroom, der party starter.
Vroom, vroom, party starter.
That wasn't me.
Hey, Conan. Vroom, vroom, party starter.
Party starter.
Yes, it worked!
87% of girls agree that hard, crusty, over-gelled hair on a guy is a turnoff. Guys, stop using gels. Get the hold without all the hard with these new Axe styling products. And get girl-approved hair.
A message from the Axe Hair Crisis Relief.
There once was a place where people lived in fear.
For me, it was shopping carts.
I was scared of trees. Dust. Horrifying.
One day, they didn't have to worry any longer.
Now, if a dust storm hits, who cares?
Now I'm free to worry about more important things, like ninjas.
For auto, home, and business, Travelers.
The story of Tim Lincecum begins in the backyard. Dad, son, and a pitcher's mound. Dad taught him that astonishing delivery by doing things like placing a dollar bill on the ground to make sure he'd follow through.
3-2 pitch.
Tim's followed through all right.
And Tim Lincecum gets it done.
It's no freak show. It's a story that just keeps getting better. This is beyond dedication. This is beyond baseball.
ESPN Sunday Night Baseball is presented by Taco Bell. Think outside the bun. And in part by Ford. Drive one.
On this Easter Sunday, as is the custom here, just like going to a Packers game during football season, they tailgate. Tailgating is part of the whole experience here when you come to Miller Park to watch the Brewers play the Cubs, or anybody else for that matter, but the Cubs are in town now, which means a lot of folks from Chicago are here as well. And there's Lou Piniella, who penciled in Alfonso Soriano, whom you just saw a moment ago. He'll be leading it off. Third season as Cubs manager for Lou Piniella, and Cubs have won 2 consecutive divisional titles under him. Here's the Cubs batting order now, presented by Taco Bell. It'll be Alfonso Soriano in left field, and watch out for him. He often leads off games with home runs. Kosuke Fukudome off to a great start, center field. Veteran Derek Lee, who hit 20 home runs last year, first base. Milton Bradley, the new arrival, who had a big year for Texas, albeit a little bit of an injury-shortened season. Aramis Ramirez, the slugging third baseman, hits 5th. Mike Fontenot at second base now. He's a starter after a fine season as a role player last year. Mark DeRosa is now with Cleveland. Ryan Theriot, his college teammate, is now his double playmate up the middle. Theriot at short. Coy Hill in there in place of the injured Giovanni Soto, who should be back on Wednesday. And Ryan Dempster, 17-game winner last year, will bat 9th. He's the pitcher up against Jeff Suppan of the Brewers.
Suppan, 34-year-old right-handed pitcher, and you see the numbers in innings eater, a guy who takes the ball, never goes on the DL, and always tends to win double digits. But very hittable, 207 hits and 177 innings pitched, nothing overpowering. You look at how he logged those numbers last year. Look at the month of August, 5-0 in August, but ran out of gas in September. If he throws a fastball in a count where a hitter's looking for a fastball, he can get in trouble.
And he can get in trouble here on the first pitch if he's not careful with Soriano, who has 50 leadoff homers to rank 3rd in Major League history in that category. Swing, and there's a drive into center field. That is way back there, and that is number 51. Soriano on the first pitch of the game launches one over the center field wall, the deepest part of the yard, and sure enough, the instant offense of Soriano has already been felt by the Brewers. Soriano puts the Cubs ahead. The last time he swung the bat, 9th inning last night, hit a 2-run homer with his team trailing in the 9th inning by a run. That was the game-winning hit, and he does it again the very next pitch.
Well, we talked about in the open how Alfonso Soriano is in the best shape of his career. Fastball right down the heart of the plate. Looking for a fastball on a fastball count. You see the rotation of the hits hitting against that front leg. The bat flying through the zone.
Now Fukudome. Fukudome, who had a horrible second half of the year, really a horrible last 4 months of the season last year, but he's off to an excellent start, hitting .421, 2 homers, 3 doubles, 3 batted in, and he put on a show during batting practice tonight. A ball and a strike to Kosuke Fukudome. And the curve in the dirt. 2-1. Now, when we saw the Cubs open up last year, Fukudome was going to be an everyday player. Now the season starts, and he is going to be the platoon center fielder along with the right-handed batting Reed Johnson. Fukudome, you see his final numbers last year, and those were top-heavy in the first half of the season. The slider is off the inside. 3-1 the count. Derek Lee on deck. Jeff Suppan, 34-year-old right-hander, tried to find himself. He got roughed up with the Giants opening day in San Francisco this past Tuesday, and now he has walked Fukudome. So a leadoff homer by Soriano, then a walk to Fukudome, and more Cubs powers coming up.
Let's take a look at the Brewers defensively. Braun in left field did not make an error last year. They're trying to put a lot of left-handers in there tonight, so Duffy takes over for Cameron in center field. And you got Weeks at second base, and you also have Craig Counsell at third because, again, they want another left-handed hitter in there. And Kendall behind the plate.
Derek Lee, who is off to a very poor start. 2 hits, 22 at-bats for Lee so far. Fukudome jumps back to the bag. He has 1 steal already this year. Fukudome had a huge game this past Wednesday in Houston. He had a homer, 4 hits, scored 4 runs over Houston. Pinella said that's the best game he's had offensively since he's been a Cub. And the fastball a little bit up and away. 1 ball and no strikes.
We go back to last season. Kosuke Fukudome early in the year was really swinging the bat well, and he also was working the count and really changed the mindset of the Chicago Cubs. They had always been a team to swing the bat, not take the walk, not work deep into the count. But Fukudome brought that mentality, and it really rubbed off on his teammates.
And Lee takes a fastball for a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. Yeah, the Cubs for years have been a club that you thought of as a lot of free swingers. They didn't, as a team, take a lot of walks, but that really changed last year. And yet they had a lot of the same players that they'd had before, other than Fukudome. Cubs led the National League in runs scored last year by far. And back to the bag is Fukudome. But one thing that Pinella's been able to do now with the addition of Milton Bradley, making Fontenot a regular player, is instead of a whole long stretch of right-handed hitters, he's got the lefty, the righty, the lefty, the righty. Can make it a little bit tougher on a right-handed pitcher. And lack for a strike.
Last year he told us several times that he was looking for a guy to hit in the 5th slot, and he would prefer for him to be left-handed. And obviously that's why they went out and got Milton Bradley, because he fits that perfectly, except he's going to hit 4th now. And Aramis Ramirez is hitting 5th.
And the only reason for that is so that Lee and Ramirez don't hit in succession as 2 right-handed hitters.
I must say that I'm a little surprised that you would put Ramirez 5th.
You like him?
Yes, I do. The guy drives in 100 runs every year.
Here's Hardy to second to Weeks in time for the force out on Fukudome. They get the lead runner, and the ball hit very softly by Derek Lee. He is safe at first. 1 away.
Let's go back, take a look at Alfonso Soriano's home run to lead off this game, and take a look at his setup here. Watch how he uncoils. If you look at him as like a spring, and watch when that front foot hits the uncoiling of the spring and the rotation of the body coming through. Power doesn't come from having the biggest biceps or being able to bench press the most. It's from that ability to rotate. And that rotation for Alfonso Soriano allows him to drive the ball a long, long way. Just uncoils at the plate.
So Soriano off to the fastest start. It's just the end of the first week of his career. 4 home runs and 26 at-bats. As Milton Bradley, the offseason acquisition, takes ball 1. And Bradley had a huge year for Texas last year, although he was overshadowed significantly by Josh Hamilton there in Texas. But they both made the All-Star team. Bradley's ops, his OPS, .999, which is huge. This should be 2. Weeks to second one. Hardy juggles the ball and won't get 2.
When a pitcher gets you the ground ball, normally, if you're going to be a good team, you have to go ahead and make the double play. Nice turn by Weeks. Gives it to Hardy. Has plenty of time. Not any pressure on him from Lee. And he just bobbles it. He rushes it to get it out of his glove, and he didn't need to rush it. Had plenty of time.
And Bradley is a pretty fast runner, although they were going to double him up. But
the ball was hit sharply. It was going to be double.
Aramis Ramirez, who you think should be hitting cleanup.
Yes. Well, my reason is because let's take a look at Hardy as he tries to make the transfer from his glove to his throwing hand, and he's not able to do it. And the reason I think that is because the farther you put a guy down the batting order, the fewer at-bats he has over the course of the season. And any way you look at it, Ramirez is their best player, their best hitter. He's their best offensive player. He drives in 100 runs every year, and he's a good hitter. So the more at-bats you get him, the better off he's going to be. And that's the reason I said. And I'm not sold on the fact that you can't have 2 right-handed hitters in a row like Derek Lee and Aramis Ramirez. They're good hitters.
1 strike the count to Ramirez, who had 27 homers, 111 batted in last year. But what if Lou did this? What if Ramirez hit 3rd and Bradley hit 4th, and then Lee hit 5th?
Yeah.
What if he did it that way? Would you like that better? It's Lou's team. He believes that he needs to split those 2 guys up, all right? And that's his belief. And so I think that it's always great to have left, right, left, right, left, right. I mean, that's the ideal batting order. But sometimes you have to have guys hit back-to-back, meaning if your 2 best hitters happen to be right-handed, I don't see a problem with them hitting back-to-back. What you do is circumvent all the players around them that way, you know, lefty, right, lefty, right. The Phillies are going with 3 in a row this year because Utley, Howard, and they happen to be their best 3 hitters in the manager's mind. So it's just a matter of philosophy. Lou's philosophy is he wants to split them up. Charlie Manuel's philosophy is these are my 3 best hitters. I'm going to leave them where they are.
See, I think the vulnerability of having all those right-handed hitters in a row is fresh to Lou. It was so obvious in the postseason against the Dodgers that they were exposed with too many right-handed hitters that he's doing it now. He may ultimately fiddle with this a little bit and end up with the 2 big righties back-to-back.
Well, the reason last year they had a lot of right-handers. Right. Now you have Fukudome in there and you have Bradley in there. Before they just had a whole row of them. You have Fontenot. Last year they just had a lot of right-handed hitters. Now the pitcher can get comfortable throwing against all right-handed hitters, but they don't have that anymore. And my only question is that you're taking at bats away from Ramirez, and he, to me, is your most powerful offensive player, consistent offensive player.
He's got 2 home runs already this year, and he's giving Suppan quite a battle as that one goes back out of play. Fielder started over. Get 2 homers, 6 batted in the first 5 games, and a .333 batting average. So, and he's been sensational every year since they got him.
Well, he's also he and Alfonso Soriano both went to the Cubs facility in the Dominican Republic and spent a lot of the offseason working out together to get themselves in shape, and he came in as good a shape as Soriano. It's not a surprise. The guys who put in the extra work in the offseason are off to pretty good starts in season.
2-2 the count to Ramirez. Runner at first. And he lunges at that slider. And that's going to reach back in amongst the spectators. As Kendall, the catcher, starts over.
You know, these guys may have put in some extra work, but I think that, as I said before, the thing that impresses me most about the players today is that they stay in shape all year round. And most guys do work hard. There may be certain things you can go work on extra that'll help you for the coming season. But I think most of the guys, when I look at them physically, they're in pretty good shape. And they stay that way year round. So that's the impressive thing to me about most of the young players and the players today.
This is quite an at-bat here so far for Ramirez, fighting off one tough pitch after another from Suppan. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
You know, that's why that drop double play ball is added pitches to Suppan, and with Suppan's stuff, he can't keep showing Ramirez what he has to offer because sooner or later he's going to make a mistake.
2-2 the count. 1 run is in. To jump back for that fastball. Now it's a full count.
I think the key is that it forces him to throw more pitches and get, his pitch count up very high. As you mentioned, mentioned, he has a tendency to lose a little bit of velocity as he goes along.
This will be his 20th pitch of the inning and his 8th of the inning to Ramirez. If they turned that double play, it would have been a 12-pitch inning.
And that's why I said, if they get you the ground ball, you have to be able to turn it to be a good team.
There goes the runner, Milton Bradley, and the ball is popped up, foul, and back out of play. So this battle continues between Suppan and Ramirez.
Joe, as a hitter, you've fouled off 7 pitches now. You've seen pretty much everything he has. Do you start to gain confidence knowing that you're kind of narrowing him down?
Well, as a hitter, you're sitting in the dugout, you're watching him to see how his stuff is moving that particular day, and they've seen a few pitches. Soriano hit the first pitch, but other than that, we've seen some pitches, so you have an idea when you get there. And after you've seen his fastball, curveball, slider, change, all the pitches that he throws, well, then you should have a good idea. You're right.
Bradley back to first. Fontenot, a left-handed hitter, is on deck. The outfield is backed up straight away for Ramirez. Jeff Suppan getting a workout here. This will be his 9th pitch just to Ramirez after the inning could have been over. Bradley runs. Hit very softly. Another excellent pitch there by Suppan, and the inning is now over. Weeks throws at Ramirez. But the first pitch of the night was hit over the center field wall by Alfonso Soriano, his 51st leadoff home run, and the Cubs lead 1-0. Brewers coming up.
Announcing the Ford Advantage Plan, a better plan to get you into a Ford SUV or crossover. While others say there's no credit available, Ford Credit says there is. Check for pre-approval at FordVehicles.com. And if you lose your paycheck, Ford will make your payments for up to 12 months. Quality, credit, and payment protection. That's the Ford Advantage Plan.
Get a Ford Edge, Escape, or Flex with 0% financing for 60 months. And if you lose your paycheck, Ford will make your payments for up to 12 months.
Well, my dad was working on Route 1 south of Danville. A man pulling a trailer didn't slow down or anything and ended up hitting my dad and killing him instantly. Be cautious to those people that are working because they're someone's father, mother, grandfather, husband, and we need them.
This is Steve Phillips, the newest member of the ESPN Sunday Night Baseball team.
You guys.
A former GM, Steve brings a unique perspective to the broadcast.
It's a plane.
I'd say mariachi band. See?
And a truly unmatched baseball knowledge.
Right, Chris. 88.
88.
This is ESPN Steve Phillips.
That dance marathon is where I discovered David Wright.
And he's part of the best team in baseball.
Sunday Night Baseball from Milwaukee. Here's Ryan Braun. He'll be coming up third. The young Brewers slugger. Craig Counsell will be coming up second. Number 30, a veteran. The Brewers batting order presented by Taco Bell. Ricky Weeks, who took over the 9th inning of a comeback win here on Friday. He's at second base. Craig Counsell gets the start at third base in place of Bill Hall with the right-hander going. Ryan Braun in left field. Another slugger, Prince Fielder. First base, 50 homers 2 years ago. J.J. Hardy, shortstop, 24 homers last year. Corey Hart, 20 homers a year ago. He's in right field. Chris Duffy gets the start. Mike Cameron with the night off. Duffy, a left-handed hitter, in there. Jason Kendall, the veteran catcher, and Jeff Suppan, the pitcher, batting ninth, all up against Ryan Dempster, 17-game winner last year. First ball swinging, that is just foul.
Ryan Dempster, 31-year-old right-handed pitcher, and obviously an outstanding season last year for the Cubs, making the transition from the closer's role into the rotation and paid off big dividends. Look at it, 206 innings pitched, 174 hits, and you take a look at the success he had at home. 500 record on the road, enveloped in there a 4-0 record in 5 starts against the Milwaukee Brewers. So a lot of success against this Milwaukee team, and a lot of success back in Chicago.
And the slider fouled. It's 0-2.
But neither one of these leadoff hitters take pitches. Weeks swung at the first pitch as well as Soriano.
And Weeks is another guy who could hit a leadoff home run. He's got some power. 5 leadoff home runs last year, one shy of the club record, which had been set originally by Tommy Harper. Slider low and outside. He was a pretty good leadoff man himself.
Very good, and he was similar in that he had power and speed, and Weeks has power and speed.
Harper had some serious speed. He'd go out
big time base stealer.
70 bases in a year. 1-2 the count. Fastball. That's a base hit to left field. Dempster tried to get it in on his hands, and Weeks kind of muscled it out there.
Well, he got the pitch up as well, John. Fastball pretty much middle of the plate in and up. Watch the targets inside. He gets it over the plate a little bit. It was 2-strike pitch, was supposed to be off the plate. He got it in. Good job by Weeks to just use his hands. Didn't do much with his body. Just used his hands, 2-strike swing, and lined it to left field.
So that pitch shouldn't have been in the
he was trying to
should have been a few
off
inches.
the plate.
Okay.
Well, you had the target was off the plate inside as well.
So now Weeks is aboard. He had 19 steals last year for the Brewers. Has 1 so far this year. Craig Counsell, the hitter. Weeks dives back to the bag safely.
Well, Craig Counsell is one of those guys that you put in the second slot because he can take pitches for you. If Weeks wants to run, he can hit and run. He can do a lot of things, and he can move the guy to first to third by pulling the ball.
And the Brewers, their regular everyday lineup has only 1 left-handed hitter in it, and that's Prince Fielder. Everybody else is right-handed, and the Cubs shifted their rotation a little bit, moved some guys up so that they could go with 3 right-handers. They kept Sean Marshall out. He's actually in the bullpen tonight and has been for this whole series, but they bypassed him. The Brewers did not do well against right-handed pitching last year. Hit 246 as a team, so Counsell's in there, Duffy's in there to get a little more left-handed at bats against Dempster, against whom they had no success at all.
Well, it didn't matter who was in there with Dempster pitching against the Brewers, because all of the Brewers suffered when he pitches.
He dominated the right-handers, hitters 2 through 6 in the lineup. Remember, they bunched all those right-handers together. He held them to 148 batting average last year. His slider ate them up. So Ken Maka trying to mix it up a little bit.
3-0 the count. And there's Counsell. And Counsell, he's a pest. That's his game. He's happy to take a walk, happy to somehow get on base. And now they've set things up nicely for the big slugging duo of Ryan Braun and Prince Fielder. So Braun heads to the plate. Braun, the final game of last season, he crushed a 2-run homer in the 8th inning to break a tie against the Cubs. That was the winning hit, and it was that home run in that game that clinched the wild card berth for the Brewers and sent them into the postseason for the first time in 26 years.
I watched him play a lot last year, John. He got a lot of big hits. That was just one that we saw on the biggest stage, but he is an excellent RBI man.
The slider way outside, and Dempster's in a lot of trouble here early on.
Well, his control is off, and he's falling behind. He's missing with his breaking ball, and he needs his slider if he is going to control these right-handed hitters.
I talked to Dale Swaim, the hitting coach for the Brewers, and asked him, what does Braun need to do to take it to the next level? He said, a little more plate discipline, a little more pitch recognition, understanding the first strike isn't necessarily the best strike he's going to see in the at-bat.
I don't know if there is another level. I mean, the guy is already
it's been good. No, it's been good.
The guy is already, in my opinion, one of the best young hitters in the game.
No, I'm with Steve here.
Yeah,
I'm not satisfied with what he's doing.
That's right. More. Give us more.
He led the Brewers in home runs and RBIs last year.
I wanted Ryan Howard to hit more than his 48 homers, 156 RBIs. I want a little more from this guy.
Yeah. He's going to get good. 1-1 the count. Almost hit it.
And there is the problem. I mean, his location is the problem.
Now, these are some pretty good names. Most home runs in Major League history, first 2 big league seasons. DiMaggio, Kiner, Eddie Matthews, Albert Pujols, and then there's Ryan Braun.
And Braun only had 113 games in 2007, so not exactly the same portion of games.
Down the right field line, in foul ground, Lee. Nope. He was approaching that box seat railing down there, and Cub fan was trying to come out and help him, I guess. Trying to get out of his way. I don't know what was going on there.
Well, Derek Lee, I thought for a moment was going to have a play on the ball, But once he gets down there, you see the Cub fan reaches over and falls out.
Wait a minute. He was trying to interfere with Derek Lee.
No, you've got to help him. You've got to say, you're all right, you're all right.
What's with these Cubs fans interfering with Cubs players going for pop fouls?
Somewhat Bartman-like right there, getting scolded, telling him, look, you're a big guy, you can't lean on the railing, guys.
I mean, he is so fortunate that he didn't end up interfering with him and touch that ball. Bartman may have ruined his life. 2 men on, nobody out. That slider, he chased it. And Terrio will go to first with Counsell hustling into second base. So the runners advance. Braun retired, and now Fielder.
Well, that's what he's been trying to do with his slider, and he made a great pitch there to Braun. A little slider down, and all he could do was hit it on the ground. He didn't hit it sharply enough for the double play. And Lou's going to go out and decide what to do with Fielder here. Well, let's take a look at the slider from Dempster. And look, that's a perfect 2-strike pitch. One that starts in the strike zone and continues to break down. And wasn't much Braun could do with it other than hit a ground ball.
What do you think, Joey? Lou goes out there and says we're going to pitch to him, or are we going to be careful with him? See what Corey Hill does there.
I think you have to say either you go after him or you walk him. I don't believe in that be careful stuff, because the pitcher starts to aim the ball, so to speak, and he doesn't give his best stuff because he's scared of getting the ball over the plate. So, you know, if you want to walk him, walk him.
But maybe Piniella believes in pitching around.
Right.
Well, I think that's so dangerous. I agree with you, Joe. I don't like that. More mistakes get made when guys try that.
Looks to me like he's pitching around him.
Well,
or pitching above him.
Yeah.
Now he's going to walk.
Yeah, that's. I mean, that's, to me, that's the way you do it. If you do not want to make a mistake with Fielder up there walking, put him at first base. You have a base open. Why take a chance?
Starting in 2007, there are only 2 big league hitters with more home runs than this man, Prince Fielder. Ryan Howard and Alex Rodriguez. And then Fielder third in all of Major League Baseball at that time.
Walk him.
There's ball 4. They walked him intentionally, as it turned out.
Well, you have a right-handed hitter coming up next where Dempster's slider should be more effective than J.J. Hardy. So why take a chance on making a mistake with Fielder?
Hardy only 2 for 18 in his career against Ryan Dempster.
J.J. Hardy, an all-star 2 years ago. He's hit 24 home runs or more in each of the last 2 years. So he is very dangerous, but a poor record against Dempster. But he starts ahead of him. Slider missing. 1 ball and no strikes. The middle infield double play depth. Cubs lead 1-0. But Dempster's in all kinds of trouble here.
Well, if you're Hardy, what you do is you narrow the strike zone now because he missed with the first pitch. You look for a pitch in your zone, and if it's not there, you go ahead and take it.
And he hits a soaring fly ball. Center fielder, Fukudome. He's got a pretty strong arm, but he'll throw to third to hold the other runners up. And scoring is Weeks. It's tied.
You know, we talked about Dempster's location being his problem early in the ball game. He seems to be getting a little bit better as it progressed, but when we started off with Counsell, I mean, those pitches there are not even close in the strike zone. All fastballs, and there to Braun, he almost hits Fielder, but I think the fielder was more intentional to make sure he got it up. But he has been missing spots with his fastball, and he hasn't been able to use his slider as much because he's behind in the count.
We've got another dangerous hitter up now. It's Dempster with 2 men on. 2 men out faces Corey Hart, and a slider in there for a strike. Now, Corey Hart had been swinging the bat real well, according to his manager, Ken Maka. He's hitting .278 with a double and a homer, but he says he's hitting some bad luck as well. He's swinging real well right now. Otherwise, he would have put in another lefty in the lineup, but he just couldn't bring himself to take Hart out of the lineup the way he's been swinging. That's the way he put it.
Corey Hart could be vulnerable to the slider, but if Ryan Dempster can't throw his fastball for a strike, the slider's a pitch he wants to start on the plate and break off the plate. Hart's not going to chase that pitch.
Way outside and back to the backstop. The runners will advance. Counsell over to third. Fielder over to second on the wild pitch.
Well, we talked about him not having control of his fastball, but he's struggling with the slider as well.
See Lou there. Lou was clean shaven and happy on Friday when they came to town, but after the tough loss Friday, it's been a tough weekend. A big, exciting win last night, but Lou doesn't like when pitchers don't throw strikes, and his bullpen has struggled at times and throwing strikes in this series, and so has Ryan Dempster to start this game.
Some of the true Lou Brew Crew fans there. Swing and a miss by Hart, and as you mentioned, Steve chasing that slider.
Well, that's the slider you start in the outside corner, break it off the plate, but for Corey Hart, that's a pitch that he's really got to try to read out of his hand. Looking for a fastball in that count. See Ryan Dempster, what a year he had last year. A dominating performance. Tough to hit, tough to drive. He threw strikes.
Turns him back with a fastball. 3-2. And the lefty, Duffy, on deck. Mike Cameron sitting on the bench tonight, the regular center fielder. Base hit can mean a couple of runs here. Counsell at third, Fielder at second.
Let's see which pitch he's more comfortable throwing for a strike here, a fastball or a slider.
It's a slider, broken back. And Milton Bradley, the inning is over. Each team with a run in the first, each pitcher with a high pitch count. On to the second inning. Fontenot, then Terrio coming up.
Millions of people, everyone out for themselves. Can this really be the only way? No. Here's to honor and to gallantry. Long may it live. Here's to doing the right thing, to giving a damn. Here's to the straight talkers who give their word and keep it. Here's to a code of behavior that sets certain men apart from all others. Here's to us. Live with chivalry. Chivas 18-year-old. Please enjoy Chivas responsibly.
New Gillette sculpting paste. Hair stays flexible and looks great. Just because you're all over the place doesn't mean your hair has to be. High-performance stylers from Gillette. Take charge of your hair.
When you look closer at a Nissan Altima, you'll see it's put through 5,000 tests to ensure durability and quality. The Altima also gets an impressive 32 miles per gallon to help you avoid the pump. To top it off, it received a Consumer's Digest Best Buy Award. Now get $1,500 cash back or lease a new Nissan Altima for $199 per month. Look closer. Nissan delivers.
Hotels.com has just the thing for people who like being treated special. Or even extra special. It's called Welcome Rewards. For every 10 nights you book, you get a free night. It's like a little extra special treatment for your wallet.
Man, I'm loving this weather. Making the most of it. What's up, ladies? You like sports?
Sunday night baseball from Miller Park in Milwaukee. The big crowd for the Cubs and the Brewers, who become heated rivals in the National League Central. Tomorrow night, more baseball on ESPN at 7 o'clock Eastern. Adrian Gonzalez, the great slugger of the Padres, facing David Wright, Jose Reyes, and the Mets. Steve is going to get up there for the first game at New City Field, the home of the Mets. And Wednesday night baseball on ESPN 2 at 7 Eastern. Padres and Mets again, and that will be part of the celebration of Jackie Robinson Day in Major League Baseball. Now the Cubs with Ray Fontenot. He takes the ball 1-2 high. 1-1 the score. Fontenot out of LSU, just as his teammate who's on deck, Ryan Terrio. They were teammates there.
They also played together for a short period of time in the minor leagues in Iowa together.
They both hit over 300 last year. Fontenot ended up being a very productive hitter as a role player. He was not an everyday player. They had Mark DeRosa playing every day. Prince Fielder bent down to handle that one just off the shoe top. One away.
Now we see Fontenot left-handed here. We talked about the Cubs' desire to try to add some left-handed bats. Well, this is why. Let's go back to the Game 2 of the NLDS last year. Chad Billingsley on the mound. Watch how he dissects all of the right-handed hitters. The last pitch to Derek Lee, a slider. Then what he would do is start off Aramis Ramirez with that same slider, the cutter off the plate. Then he'd retire Ramirez on the slider, and then go into the second inning. First pitch to Mark DeRosa, the slider connecting hitter to hitter. He would get the hitter out on a pitch and start the next hitter off with that same pitch. That's what we mean when we talk about a pitcher getting into a rhythm with too many hitters of one side of the plate in a row.
Ryan Terrio is one of those guys into right field. Corey Hart, number 2. So a couple of quick outs for Suppan. We got a 21-pitch first inning. And now Coy Hill will come to the plate. This is a retractable roof ballpark. Miller Park in Milwaukee. What a great name for a park.
You like that, huh?
This is one of my favorite parks. And I just really get a kick out of saying the name Miller Park in Milwaukee, as there's a called strike to Coy Hill. Now Giovanni Soto, the young catcher who burst upon the scene last year. What a year he had. What an exciting player he was. But he's hurting right now. His shoulder giving him a little trouble. The curve is in the dirt for a ball. 1-1 to Coy Hill. But Lou Piniella said that he threw before the game tonight. Seemed fine. And they have their home opener tomorrow in Chicago. Hill will play that game. And Piniella said that Giovanni Soto will return to the lineup on Wednesday. He's very sure.
Well, there's some real concern about Coy Hill's right foot. Hit a foul ball off the front foot in the game and bruised it, and ended up having to take that part of the shoe off right there in order to free up, because he had some swelling in the toe and they didn't want the toe to rub against the shoe. So they opened up his foot so that to relieve some of the pressure there.
Ricky Weeks. And a very quick inning for Suppan. Easter Sunday from Milwaukee. Happy Easter to you and yours from Sunday Night Baseball.
Here's Ryan getting ready to make his approach to the men's room.
Looks like he needs to go urgently.
True. And there's Casey about to drive also to the men's room.
He has been going over and over.
Now Wilson, third time today, says he's going a lot at night too.
Yes, I'm afraid he thinks it's par for the course.
They ought to see their doctors.
Could be male urinary symptoms due to BPH and enlarged prostate.
For many guys, prescription Flomax reduces their urinary symptoms due to BPH in 1 week.
1 week.
Only your doctor can tell if you have BPH, not a more serious condition like prostate cancer.
Avoid driving or hazardous tasks for 12 hours after your first dose or increase in dose, as a sudden drop in blood pressure may occur, rarely resulting in fainting.
If considering cataract surgery, tell your eye surgeon you've taken Flomax. Common side effects are runny nose, dizziness, and decrease in semen.
Ask your doctor if Flomax is right for you.
And call 877-4FLOMAX to see if you qualify for up to $40 off new or refill prescriptions.
For many men, Flomax can make a difference in 1 week.
We need to send an expert.
A walking, talking, know-it-all.
Expert. A guru.
How about Wu? Wu will do.
Where to?
First stop, Peru.
Then send Wu to Kathmandu.
What's next?
Timbuktu.
And area code 212. So Timbuktu, Kathmandu, Peru in 212?
All by 2:30.
Not a problem.
Need an expert? Push a button. That's the Human Network Effect. Learn more at cisco.com/newways.
Hold on there, buddy. I got something to tell you. Even the best of us get dull after a while. It's time to change your blade. All us Fusion blades have an indicator strip. And when it fades to white, change your blade for a better shade. Whoa! Fresh blade, better shade.
They got everything.
Not everything.
That's not mine.
Yo, you covered for this?
I don't know.
You need to call my agent.
You should know you're covered.
Come on, man. It's not mine.
Call one of our 17,000 State Farm agents today.
Miller Park in Milwaukee with the roof closed on this Easter Sunday. I'm Jon Miller with Joe Morgan and Steve Phillips. Your Sunday night telecasters. 20th year of Sunday Night Baseball. Next Sunday we'll be over in Chicago. Another great Central Division rivalry. The Cubs will host the Cardinals. Pinella, Tony La Russa will be matching wits. Chris Duffy, the hitter, against Dempster. Blew a fastball right by him. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Duffy was a guy who was a non-roster invitee to spring training for the Brewers, and the only non-roster player to actually make the club in the spring. Very fast center fielder. And that's a fastball right down the middle. Strike 3 call.
Well, we were talking about Soriano earlier, and Steve was talking about his coil. Well, guess what? He's the only one that does that in the game today. Let's take a look at Hank Aaron and Soriano. They're very similar. Now, I'm going to show you the difference in the swings. When Hank gets right there, he extends on through the ball. And when Soriano gets to that same point, he's got more of an uppercut. See how his bat is traveling this way. That's the reason he strikes out a lot more than Hank Aaron did. And it's also the reason that Hank was hit for a higher average throughout his career. Because the longer you keep the bat through the zone, the more times you're going to hit line drives. And Soriano has a short, quick swing like Hank's, but his is more of an uppercut, and he hits more fly balls. There's more fly balls hit by Soriano and strikeouts than there would be with Hank because of the extension through the zone and staying level through the zone a lot longer.
Looked like Hank got out on that front foot a little bit more to keep the bat through the zone.
Well, when you go out on when you keep the bat level, it takes you to your front side. You know, Soriano, a lot of the hitters today stay on their backside because they want to hit the ball in the air.
1-2 to Jason Kendall. Slider from Dempster misses. 2 balls, 2 strikes. You saw the number 44 of Aaron, retired number here in Milwaukee after his brilliant career with the Braves, the Milwaukee and the Atlanta Braves. He spent the last 2 years of his career as primarily a designated hitter here with the Milwaukee Brewers.
John, the first time I ever saw Hank Aaron, he was playing obviously for the Milwaukee Braves on television. And I always remember, you know, Lou Burdette, Warren Spahn, Hank Aaron, Eddie Matthews. That's the kind of tradition here. And there you see what Hank Aaron did. He never hit 50 home runs in his career. He just was so consistent year in and year out hitting the ball out of the ballpark. And he was a good hitter, won a batting title. When I first came to the big leagues, Hank Aaron was just, he was chasing Babe Ruth, but it wasn't in a serious chase at the time. He used to hit the ball right center, left center. He stayed in the middle of the diamond. That's how he hit for a higher average. Once he made up his mind he was going to be the greatest home run hitter ever, at that point, he started to pull the ball more. Then he went to Atlanta, and there was a better park for that.
Nice pickup by Ramirez. The swipe of the glove, and he throws out Kendall. 2 down. I'm Jon Miller with Joe Morgan and Steve Phillips. Sunday Night Baseball. And we've got these two clubs who have a heated rivalry going now. They're at the close proximity geographically. But next Sunday, a heated rivalry that goes back into the 19th century. Yeah. The Cardinals and Cubs will be renewed.
I think the reason the Brewers became one of their, rivals is because of the competition that the Brewers are, down the road, and they're playing them all the time and trying to fight them off. But now I think the Cardinals have always been their #1 rival.
That's been a great rivalry, even though there haven't been that many years where the two teams battle each other for first place, which you think of the Giants and Dodgers, the Yankees and Red Sox. So many times where they were battling each other for the pennant or for a division title. But it hadn't happened that often with the Cubs and Cardinals, and yet the fans are passionate in the rivalry. And in one ballpark, there will always be a lot of fans from the other club. It's about a 6 hours drive from St. Louis to Chicago. That's about an hour and a half, depending on where you are in Chicago, to come over here to Milwaukee. And that bugs Brewers fans, and there are usually so many Cubs fans here when the Cubs come in. As Suppan strikes out, and a quick inning for Dempster. On to the third. Dempster will be coming up, and then that man, Soriano, already has a home run in this game on the first pitch of the night. He'll be coming up second. 1-1 as we head to the third.
Announcing the Ford Advantage Plan, a better plan to get you into a built Ford tough truck.
While others say there's no credit available, Ford Credit says there is. Check for pre-approval at FordVehicles.com. And if you lose your paycheck, Ford will make your payments for up to 12 months. Quality, credit, and payment protection. That's the Ford Advantage Plan.
Get a Ford F-150 with 0% financing or $4,000 cash back plus $1,000 bonus cash. And if you lose your paycheck, Ford will make your payments for up to 12 months.
We already pay high tax.
Now some politicians want to take away federal deductibility, one of the largest state tax deductions.
They want to make us pay state income tax on federal taxes the IRS already took out of our paychecks. A tax on a tax is wrong.
It's just another way for politicians to sneak through a backdoor tax increase.
Let's tell our legislators, keep our federal deduction and protect our family budget.
Cobalt tools are so tough you'll never have to stop working.
Hey, dude.
What are you doing down there, Jimmy?
Yeah, what are you doing down there, Jimmy?
Pipe fitting, guys.
Cobalt, the next generation of tough tools. Available exclusively at Lowe's.
People think that Honda is always the most fuel-efficient choice. Well, the Chevy Cobalt XFE has better highway mileage than a comparable Honda Civic. The Chevy Traverse has better mileage than a Honda Pilot. And Chevy Malibu has better mileage than Accord. However, Honda does make something that we just can't compete with. Introducing Chevy Total Confidence. No one covers you better. Not Toyota, not Honda, not anyone. Go to ChevyConfidence.com for program details.
ESPN Sunday Night Baseball, presented by Taco Bell. Brought to you by Chevy, an American Revolution. And Lowe's. This season, spring starts at Lowe's. Let's build something together.
Now the Cubs in the third inning from Miller Park in Milwaukee, as there's a ball down and away from Suppan to his opposite number, Ryan Dempster, and Alfonso Soriano on deck, and Kosuke Fukudome, the third hitter, due up in the inning. 1-1 the score. And in the dirt is Suppan. 2 balls, no strikes.
Yeah, John, this is the way that Jeff Suppan wants to face Ryan Dempster. It's not only because it's the pitcher leading off the inning and he's a light hitter, but Ryan Dempster is one of the best weapons with runners on base. He had the most sacrifice bunts in the major leagues last year. And he's a guy who understands that to be a pitcher in the National League that's successful, it's not just about the ball come out of your hand. It's about what you do at the plate.
Hits that one in the air. Duffy on the move, and 1 away.
What you do at the plate, advancing runners, holding runners when you're on the mound, fielding your position. Ryan Dempster does all of those things very, very well.
A hallmark of those great Braves teams when they had Smoltz, Glavine, and Greg Maddux at the top of the rotation. Seemed like all 3 of those guys were almost automatic. Get the bunt down or whatever it took. Here is Soriano. This man is in a groove right now. 4 home runs already, including 2 huge home runs late in games. And that's a foul ball.
Let's take a look at the home run he hit in the first inning, John. Since he's been in the big leagues since 2002, I mean, he's been just a machine at hitting home runs. When he's with New York in 2002, it started 39, 38, 28, 36, 46, 33, and 29 last year in only 109 games. So he is a guy that's going to hit you a lot of home runs.
Last couple of years with the Cubs, he got hurt both years and missed significant time.
Well, his high was 46 home runs when he was in Washington, and he also joined the 40-40 club then. He stole 40 bases, hit over 40 home runs, hit the 46 home runs, 41 stolen bases. So he is exactly what we talked about, speed and power. His only deficiency is he strikes out a lot, and he struck out over 100 times in each of those years.
He also has been a rather slow starter. But you have to, until just now.
But you have to take the good with the bad, the bad with the good, I should say, because, I mean, when you look at a guy like him, and we were going to have that discussion last week about Ryan Howard, there are certain guys, in my opinion, that are exception to certain rules that we like to adhere to. And I think Ryan Howard is one, and I think Soriano is one. Because normally a guy like Soriano, you'd like for him to hit lower in the batting order. but he's not comfortable there. That's not the way he plays the game. I mean, he's driven in 100 runs twice. You know what I mean? So he can drive in runs for you. You know, a lot of times he's driving in himself, of course, but who cares? He hit a home run in the first inning. That's one run on the board. That's as good as or better than a single with a runner at second base, because the runner doesn't always score.
To the count, now 3-2. Well, Bobby Bonds.
Yeah, I think he
was a great player. He was
Bobby Bonds.
He was like that. People always said, man, he should be hitting third, fourth, or fifth, somewhere in there. But he always seemed to be better hitting leadoff.
And Soriano's the same way. There are a lot of guys, I know they won batting titles, that were not good third-place hitters.
That's foul.
Well, I'll say that for me, the most special thing about him is his power. And because of that, you know, he hits a lot of home runs, but he hits an inordinate number of solo home runs in the leadoff spot. For me, he would be much better suited to hit down to the lineup to be a run producer. He's not a great on-base percentage guy, where he steals some bases. His power is still his biggest asset. I bat him down in the order and get somebody on base in front of him to where those home runs become 2- and 3-run shots.
But they're not going to become 2- or 3-run. They're going to pitch him differently. And they've tried to move him down the order, and it has not been successful. Lou tried it, it didn't work out. Certain guys' mindset says that they are not run producers hitting fourth or fifth, that they need to hit higher in the order. And one other thing, I mean, I played with the guy that had more hits than anybody else, Pete Rose. He won batting titles, but he was not a third-place hitter. Just because you have one asset doesn't make you a hitter for that particular position. A lot of guys, you have to have the right mindset to hit in an RBI position.
So you think maybe Soriano wouldn't be as
No, he wouldn't be. I know he wouldn't. They tried it. I mean, they've tried it. I mean, they've tried to move him down, and it didn't work. He doesn't want to hit there. If you do not have the mindset to hit in those positions, you're not going to be successful.
See, and I look at it where he was a second baseman. He didn't want to play the outfield, but they moved him to the outfield. And, yeah, he dug in his heels a little bit, but ultimately he did it, and he's now pretty good out there. I still think that in the end, he could be as productive. It might take some time for him to get over it, but they're not going to pitch him. He already sees one of the lowest percentage of fastballs of any hitter in the big leagues as a leadoff man. So I still think he's going to see a lot of off-speed pitches, which he does in the leadoff spot. And then I think he might actually get more fastballs with runners on base in front of him if he's down in the lineup a little bit. And I understand the mindset, but I think he could get over that.
Well, I mean, like I said, Lou tried it, and I talked to Lou last year about it. And he said, no, he's a first-place hitter, and that's where he's going to hit. But, I mean, look, like you said, you wanted Ryan Howard to hit more home runs. We all want players to be better. But sometimes it is what it is. And that's Alfonso Soriano to me. He feels more comfortable hitting the leadoff. And, look, you're only hitting leadoff the first time through the order anyway. Well, today.
Fukudome the hitter. There goes Soriano. The ball is in the dirt, so he steals it uncontested. Soriano, his second steal of the year, which is another part of his game, which is like a leadoff guy.
Right. That's the part of him that is like that, right? His 250th career stolen base.
But, I mean, when you hit 40 home runs and you steal 40 bases, you're doing it all. And there you see the numbers, 250-plus home runs, 250 stolen bases.
19th player in history to have that combination of power and speed to that extent. Fukudome walked his first time. And Suppan bluffs Soriano back to second. Fukudome with a 3-ball no-strike count this time. Derek Lee on deck. Last year, he hit 29 homers
in short season, 109 games.
So he had some excellent numbers as a leadoff man. Slugging well over 500. And that's pretty good on-base percentage for him, 350, because he's not a guy who usually walks a lot.
Right, no, 328 career on base, so last year one of his better years.
3-0.
Well, we can say whatever we want about, the Cubs and moving guys around. But the Cubs led the National League in runs scored, on-base percentage, and slugging percentage last year. The fact that they didn't win in playoffs is what I guess alarms people. But they were the best offensive team in the league last year.
By far.
That's what it wasn't even close. You're right.
3-2 to Fukudome. He changed up on him there on a 3-1 count.
I've seen 10 pitches between his two at bats. It's the first one he swung at. 3-1 changeup. So it got to make you wonder right now, Joe, if he's going to get a fastball in the 3-2 count.
Well, I'm sure he's wondering that.
Right-handed hitting Lee on deck. First base is open. 1 out. And a slider. Did he swing? The plate umpire made the call himself. Angel Hernandez rings him up. Now we're going to go to the studio. Here's Dari Noko with the Sports Center right now.
All right, guys, drama at the Masters. Angel Cabrera wins his second major on the second playoff hole in a three-way tiebreaker at Augusta. Angel Cabrera getting the green jacket after Kenny Perry blew a 2-shot lead with 2 holes to go. Meanwhile, bench is clear in Anaheim. Josh Beckett throws up high on Bobby Abreu. All this happens. Torrey Hunter among those ejected. Angels take 2 or 3 from the series, guys.
Maybe Beckett thinks he's still playing for the Yankees. Abreu, I mean.
Yeah. Maybe some unfinished
business from
holdover.
Last year or the year before.
Yeah. Man, that was a great Masters. I was watching some of it earlier today. And, man, I actually thought Kenny Perry was going to win it. And, man.
You're surprised by that result a little bit.
Yes, I am. I didn't see whatever happened. I didn't see what happened. But Cabrera, I saw in the playoff he was behind a tree on the first playoff hole. I said, well, he's out of it. Obviously, he came through.
Here's Derek Lee, 2 down. Soriano at second. Lee hit into a force play his first time. 1-1 the score. Jeff Suppan just off the outside. Ball 1. Tomorrow the Cubs will be at Wrigley Field. Their home opener tomorrow. Always a festive occasion. And that'll be a 1:20 first pitch at Wrigley after all the festivities. Cubs open with the Colorado Rockies. Slider. 1 ball, 1 strike.
The one thing I think that happens when you have someone like Suppan pitching, he doesn't have a dominant pitch. He can't overpower you. Everything he throws up there looks good to hit. And sometimes I think you're a little too aggressive going after him because you think you can hit any pitch that he throws, and you end up chasing a lot of pitches.
He's really counting on guys being aggressive.
Being over-aggressive.
Just off the outside.
See, he doesn't want to throw a strike with the fastball. He's going to throw it, get you to chase it off the plate. Lee has taken a couple of them, but he chased the breaking ball. So, I mean, that's Suppan's MO. That's the way he's going to pitch.
Well, that was a good pitch there because he got him to swing at the one just off the corner, so he tried to expand it to get him to chase off just a little bit further, but Lee didn't take the bait.
Suppan about to throw his 50th pitch of the night. We're in the 3rd inning. 2 down. A slider. 2-2 the count.
Oh, Derek Lee's right. He's staying close, letting the ball get deeper into the zone and thinking about driving it to right center field. When he starts to spin and get a little over-aggressive and get pull conscious where he gets into trouble. Right, the 2-strike approach, he's got to start thinking going the other way.
I think what happened to him 2 years ago is they started pounding him inside so much that he started trying to pull the ball, and he hasn't adjusted to go back the other way. Remember, Derek Lee used to be right center. That's where he used to hit a lot of baseballs, so right center into right field. So now he's become more of a pull hitter.
Trying to knock in Soriano, who's at second. Hit very softly again. And counts it. Throws him out. So it goes for Derek Lee in this first week of the season. He's now 2 for 24. There's Ryan Braun. He'll be coming up 3rd in the last half of the 3rd.
Everyone thinks imports are the safe bet.
Well, everyone should know that Chevy backs their quality with the best coverage in America, including a 5-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty.
Everyone must have missed that.
It's 40,000 more miles than Toyota and Honda.
Everyone got some bad information.
I think it's time for everyone to take another look. Introducing Chevy Total Confidence. No one covers you better. Not Toyota, not Honda, not anyone. Go to ChevyConfidence.com for program details.
Schick Extreme 3, the only disposable with 3 flexible pivoting blades and 2 conditioning strips for a smooth, comfortable shave. Schick Extreme 3, free your skin.
1-1 the score. There's Ryan Dempster. We know he's a very fine pitcher. He can be a wizard out there on the mound. But yesterday we found out he also can do magic.
Tell me when to stop. Stop. Right there? Mm-hmm. All right. You can all see the ace of clubs. You can see the ace of clubs. What I want you to do is take that card right there. don't show me. I'll go ahead and look down if you want to show the camera. And then just stick it back in there anywhere. And you know, like there's like a trick, you know, like they say, like somebody's always got something up their sleeves. Like I could put this up my sleeve, and I don't know what your card is. I didn't look at it or anything like that. But what I like to say is, instead of up my sleeve, I always get something right here in my back pocket. And now I like that. That's a nice one. So there it is. That's pretty good.
Yeah, jack in my back pocket.
That's
That was a pretty good one.
That's really good.
Well, Peter Pasquarelli, I don't know. He picked the jack of hearts, so I don't know. I got to check on that one.
You think there was some collusion going on there?
I don't know. Something's going on
We've
there.
looked at the tape a couple of times. We still can't figure out how he did it.
He just is magic. I mean, there's some hitters sometimes who might feel the same when he's got everything working. Here's Ricky Weeks, who singled his first time. And he drops a slider in there for a called strike.
John, I talked to Willie Randolph today about Ricky Weeks, and you know, he's been working with him to help him defensively and just to help him become a better player. And he said this guy really listens. He's very attentive, and I mean, he really wants to get better. And that's 90% of the battle. Going out, wanting to work at it. I mean, a lot of guys are not willing to put in that time. He said that Ricky listens and he does everything. And he talked about something we're going to talk about later in the telecast, rhythm.
The slider fouled 1-2.
And he said he was trying to, you know, get Ricky to have a rhythm out there. He said sometimes, you know, it's like he's stutter stepping. He's not in rhythm when he's making the plays at second base or the double play. And we've talked over the years, I've always said, to be a good middle infielder, you have to be able to dance. And that's what he's talking about. He said you have to have the rhythm with your feet, with your hands. It has to be, you have to be listening to the proper tune, so to speak.
You're standing with you and Willie Randolph, a couple of former second basemen at the batting cage, like standing next to a couple of old jazz musicians.
Yeah, they bring it to the Foxtrot or something like that.
Dempster. 1 away. Weeks retired.
You know, saw Ryan Dempster with the magic trick and the sleight of hand. Well, he has some deception with his delivery as well. As he's going through his motion, he wiggles his glove, and at one point he was tipping his pitches. Kevin Millar, who they were teammates in Florida at the time, talked about, you know what, how about moving your glove so that we can't see what you're doing with setting up your grip. So he starts to move the glove, and it allows him to get his grip on his pitch without the hitter being able to pick up the grip. So sleight of hand while he's pitching as well.
It's a magic trick. The ball probably in his back pocket.
Well, last year, the way he shut down the Brewers, they thought it was magic. I mean, his slider was disappearing at home plate.
He beat the Brewers 4 times without a loss last year. And he alone was part of the big difference between the two clubs. The Cubs won 97, the Brewers won 90. And 4 games difference just in the games that Dempster pitched against Milwaukee. 3-0 the count to Counsell. Why can't he throw a strike to Counsell when you got Braun and Fielder coming up next? He hadn't thrown him a strike yet.
And of all the guys to be afraid of in the lineup, this isn't the one. He doesn't hit the ball out of the ballpark.
That's the first strike he's thrown him. He walked him in the first inning that helped set up the Milwaukee run. See, last year 5 starts. They hit only .213 as a team against Dempster. Another walk to Counsell. And now Braun with Fielder behind him coming up. E60 presented by Ford is on ESPN Tuesday at 7 Eastern, 6 Central. One of the features this week will look inside the art of the stance as Major League greats Cal Ripken Jr., Julio Franco, David Wright, and more will discuss their batting stances. Check it out, 7 o'clock Tuesday.
Cal Ripken had a number of different stances, didn't he? He changed just about every year, it seemed.
It wasn't just every year. Sometimes it was at bat to at bat. He gave the names to his stance. Oh, I'm using that stance number 37C. There's a pop-up by Braun. First ball swinging right out toward the mound. Ramirez.
Well, he got Braun to go up and out of the strike zone with a high fastball. Excellent pitch by Dempster. Let's take a look. Well, it says it got a piece of the strike zone. Looked like it was up a little bit. Let's see. He's late getting to it. Good fastball from Dempster with some movement. So I've said this before, but you look at that. The graphic says 90 miles an hour. That's important, but the most important thing is the movement on that pitch.
Slider for a strike to Prince Fielder.
Well, oftentimes a fastball has more movement down in the zone. Dempster, a guy that does have some movement up, but it's movement, velocity, location, all keys to a pitcher's success. Deception as well.
1-1 to Fielder, facing one of the top sluggers in the National League. He's only 24 years old. He got more experience in the big leagues than Ryan Braun, but he's actually younger than Braun. He's 25. 34 homers last year, and people were disappointed. It was a down year for him. He had 50 the year before. So he has set the bar rather high early on in his career.
I asked him around the cage, what's your favorite part of the game? Without hesitation, hitting. And he said, but defense. He said, I'm starting to understand the importance of defense to winning and to being a well-rounded player as well. So to his credit, he at least gave it lip service.
Well, I don't think if you ask any good hitter what's his favorite part, he's going to tell you hitting.
You mean he will tell you it's hitting?
Yeah. Well, he'd love to hit. I mean, everybody loves to hit if they can hit. Now, if you're not a good hitter, that may be the most challenging part of your game.
Yeah, I didn't care for it a whole lot, Joe.
But I mean, Fielder, I guarantee you, he loves to hit.
Yes, he does.
Now, you were, what, 8 years in the minor league, Steve?
I was, yes. 8 long, painful years.
And what was your minor league average?
250.
Oh.
250 minor league hitter. I couldn't hit a breaking ball for my life, depending on it.
So that's why you're in love with these sliders. They say a lot of catchers do that. They end up calling pitches that they can't hit. So it alerts the other team of just what they're doing, because if you can't hit a breaking ball and you call a lot of breaking balls, then the other team knows what you're know what your strategy is going to be.
Now, the average major league hitter hits 220 on a slider, and the average major league hitter hits 285 on a fastball. Now, not every fastball, not every slider are equal, but in general, those are the numbers.
Fastball out in right center field. Fontenot, safe.
Well, he took too long. He thought he had more time than he did. He thought since Fielder was running, he had more time. If you watch this again, he catches it, he straightens up, and then he rushes because he sees that Fielder is getting down the line pretty quickly. Now watch this. He has time. Fielder gets out of the box. He catches the ball, takes his time, takes an extra step, then he looks up, and it's too late, so you have to give Fielder a lot of credit for hustling out of the box. You see Fielder, this is about as fast as he can go, and he beats it out for a base hit. So that was just, Fontenot kind of went to sleep there.
Now, ball players are supposed to hustle all the time, but when your star hustles all the time, it makes it sure easy to manage your team to say, look, guys, our big guys hustling down the line, everybody else should do it too.
Here's J.J. Hardy with men on base. He knocked in a run with a sacrifice fly in the first.
Get him out of the box right there. You know what? He's going hard down the line, especially when he saw Fontenot kind of look to second base. He smelled the base hit. Speed. You know he's going to be talking about that in the dugout, too.
Ball and a strike to Hardy. 2 men on, 2 men out in the third of tie ball game. Dempster has now thrown 58 pitches in these first 3 innings. Counsell at second, Fielder at first. Helped him out. Chased a fastball up over the strike zone, up around his shoulders that time. 1-2.
We talked about how Ryan Dempster moved from the closer's role into the starting rotation. He said that one of the things that closing helped him with now that he's starting is when he's in a jam, he finds ways to get out of trouble.
Slider. Oh. Nice play by Fontenot, and he throws him out. Cubs are happy that Derek Lee remembered to touch first base. He caught that ball with his foot off the bag. The inning is over. Milton Bradley, then Aramis Ramirez coming up.
We already pay high taxes.
Now some politicians want to take away federal deductibility, one of our largest state tax deductions.
They want to make us pay state income tax on federal taxes the IRS already took out of our paychecks. A tax on a tax is wrong.
It's just another way for politicians to sneak through a backdoor tax increase.
Let's tell our legislators, keep our federal deduction and protect our family budget.
We're in challenging economic times. Today more than ever, you need to spend wisely. At Cartridge World, our only business is printer cartridges, so your printer cartridge will be done right the first time, guaranteed. Don't spend money on new cartridges when you can have your existing cartridges filled at a fraction of the cost. Our vast experience ensures that your cartridges will perform like the originals, 100% guaranteed. Cartridge World is where you save money and time. Color your world with Cartridge World.
Jon Kruk and Carl Ravitch, best friends and Baseball Tonight's main duel. Two guys with two distinct styles of bringing you the game.
Word is these bad boys on the hot seat.
A former player, Kruk's unafraid to bring it to fans straight.
You might want to ease off on that spray tan, all right?
While Ravitch keeps everything in perspective.
42.59. What is this, Tony Gwynn's career total basis?
This is ESPN's Jon Kruk and Carl Ravitch. And they're part of the best team in baseball.
We've lowered the price of looking beautiful. We've lowered the price of eating out more often. We've lowered the price of more color. We've lowered over 1,000 prices on the leading brands you use and buy the most, so you can do more with your budget and your spring. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. Get Scott's Naturescapes mulch right now for only $3.97 a bag.
It's ESPN's Sunday Night Baseball from Milwaukee's Miller Park, presented by Taco Bell. Easter Sunday, we're very happy that you're spending at least part of it with us. I'm Jon Miller with Joe Morgan and Steve Phillips. Sunday Night Baseball, Chicago and Milwaukee here at Miller Park in Milwaukee. The Cubs in a 1-1 tie with the Brewers, and the cleanup man, Milton Bradley, coming up with who has one hit in 17 at bats so far as a Cub, and now he gets hit, so he'll take first against Suppan, with Aramis Ramirez coming up next. Bradley's one hit, by the way, was a home run. Aramis Ramirez, we know Bradley's going to get going.
Yeah.
What we don't know is if he's going to be able to stay healthy enough to play 150 games or so, which the Cubs are hopeful of. Outstanding hitter. He just had a monster year for Texas last year, but in the second half he had some injury problems. So he hit when he was there, but he was missing a lot because of the injuries as Ramirez lifts a high foul out of play. Here's that play at first with the throw from Fontenot, made the great play, but watch where Derek Lee's foot isn't.
Well, he knew he had plenty of time, so he was just getting in position. You know, we've seen guys put their foot on the bag, the throw's offline, and they can't go get it. So he was making sure he caught the ball first and make sure it was going to be a good throw, and then he touches the bag. So great job of hitting there, actually, by Hart to go the other way.
That ball is hit into left center field. Braun gets there at the edge of the track. Bradley was running with the pitch, so he has to turn around and go back to first.
Well, it was a great job. Hardy went with the slider and went the other way. And an excellent play by Fontenot to retire Hardy in the inning. Mike Fontenot. Apparently I called him Ray Fontenot the first time he came up. Ray Fontenot was a pitcher for the Yankees. Yeah. So I apologize to Mike Fontenot. I was in the wrong decade is all. Happens to me. I call Prince Cecil a lot of times. Prince Fielder.
Bradley back to the bag. It's Mike Fontenot. He's not a big guy, but if you looked at his numbers from last year, you'd think he was a big guy, big powerful guy.
5'8". I mean, he's a little guy, but some sock in his bat. Goes to show that it's not necessarily about brute strength, but how you get to the bat to the ball.
His OPS was over 900, which that's starting getting into rarefied air there. Usually that's power hitter country. OPS, the combination of the on-base percentage and the slugging percentage. It's sort of a shorthand. It's not a definitive statistic, but it's a shorthand. The general managers like to have a quick look to see if a guy really was effective or not. Just add those two figures together. That's OPS, but it's much in vogue these days.
The only problem with OPS to me is that if there's an imbalance there. If you got a real high on-base percentage and a lower slugging percentage or vice versa. And there you see. But the great thing about this OPS statistic is that the best player has the highest OPS.
You know, you're usually right with Pujols at the top, right? You know you got it right.
That gives you credibility. That gives that credibility.
So 744 was the average OPS in baseball. But it is two different things. The OPS for a leadoff man versus a guy who's a power hitter, or of course then you have the whole conversation about Soriano, who's a power hitter who also is a leadoff man.
Right.
I think what general managers often do, they look at positions as well. So like the first base profile should be a guy that's OPS is a little higher than maybe a second base or shortstop, because you're looking at somebody to drive the ball and be more of a run producer.
Ball 4 to Fontenot, so he walks. Bradley moves over to second with Terrio coming up now. Fontenot, who made the outstanding play on Hardy to end the third, but before that, fielding at the base head as Fontenot took a little extra time. And there's Alan Trammell, great shortstop for many years with the Tigers. Now a bench coach for Lou Piniella and the Cubs, talking to Fontenot between innings.
We like to see that, right, Joe? We talk about teaching at the major league level. It doesn't happen as much anymore.
Well, I love to see Trammell anyway, because I always think of he and Whitaker. I mean, they were just a fabulous double play combination with the Tigers.
Longest running by maybe 8 years. Longer than any other double play combination in the history of the game. Right through the middle by Terrio. Base hit. And Bradley goes to third. And about halfway to third, Bradley was not moving well.
Yeah, something's not right there. It looked like he might have grabbed his right groin when he got to third base. And see Mike Quaddy, the third base coach, looking in the dugout.
There comes Lou.
Yeah, Lou's going out. Because he should have scored on that. That ball was hit up the middle, but wasn't hit that hard. You see him start to break toward third, and it's almost like he knows that he can't go right off the start. It's Mike Quaddy holding him up, but Milton Bradley had no designs on trying to round third and score.
And this is basically what John was talking about earlier. He's had a lot of injuries, the last couple of years. But I think he wants to stay in. Lou has gone back.
But if I'm looking at it saying that the best effort he can give me, because physically he's not right, is what we saw, I can't leave him in. While pitching the dirt, he can't score. So I think it's tough to leave him in.
Well, he's taking him out. He's calling someone out right now.
Mark O'Neill, the head trainer for the Cubs, alongside. There's Reed Johnson, who is going to platoon, or that was the master plan at the start of the year, to platoon in center with Fukudome. Looks like he's going to be brought in here from Milton Bradley. Well, hopefully there's nothing serious.
Exactly.
Because Milton, the big opening day tomorrow at Wrigley Field. A key man in their offseason restructuring of the lineup.
No question, he had such a huge year in Texas last year. Hit for average from both sides of the plate, hit for power. What you see is the ball was hit back up the middle. He didn't get any sort of a jump off the secondary lead. You see him starting to favor what looks to be that right groin. He kind of indicates to Mike Quaddy, the third base coach, that it's not quite right.
Reed Johnson now at third base as the runner for Milton Bradley. Bradley did, after being hit by the pitch with Ramirez up, they put the hit and run on. He took off for second, and Ramirez hit a fly ball. Otherwise, I don't know where this could have happened. It might have been something earlier in the game, but whatever it was, he seemed like he was moving well when he took off for second on the hit and run play. So maybe something happened in there. Coy Hill, the hitter, 2 men on. I beg your pardon, 3 men on with 1 man out. Hill grounded out to second his first time, and the infield is double play depth. for the Brewers, as Suppan is in all kinds of trouble now in a 1-1 game. In the dirt, down and in, backhanded by Kendall. 2-0.
This is where Jeff Suppan gets himself in trouble. You've got the 8th hitter in the lineup, and Coy Hill, not a very good hitter, a light hitter, more of a defensive catcher, but he's now put Hill in a fastball count. And with the bases loaded, he can't afford to go 3-0 on him. So Coy Hill now is going to get a pitch here that he can drive, go back up the middle with it, try to pick up a sac fly or pick up a run.
Johnson at third, Fontenot at second, Terrio at first. 3-0.
We mentioned that Suppan had a strange season, John, last year. He was 5-7 until August. Then he went 5-0, and then he went 0-3 down the stretch, which ended up 10-10. But very unusual season there. Got really hot there in August, 5-0. In 6 starts.
As good as there was in the league in August, and then couldn't get anybody out in September. And he has walked Hill on 4 pitches with the bases loaded to force home Johnson with the go-ahead run for the Cubs.
And Soriano's going to hit with runners in scoring position now, and he doesn't have a place to put him. Well, I'm sorry, Dempster, and then Soriano is next.
And Bill Castro, the new Brewers pitching coach, will head out to the mound as Jorge Julio, veteran right-hander, starts to warm up in the Milwaukee bullpen. We talked about the Cubs restructuring their lineup. The Brewers lineup is pretty much as it was last year, but there was a lot of other restructuring that went on with the Brewers.
Well, that's right. Remember, they lost C.C. Sabathia and Ben Sheet, so obviously 2 big guys in the rotation. There's Ken Maka. They bring in a new manager. Bill Castro had for 17 years been the bullpen coach, is now the pitching coach because Mike Maddox, the outstanding pitching coach the last few years, has gone to Texas, got a big contract. They bring in Willie Randolph. I think this Willie Randolph, great pickup as the bench coach for Ken Maka. Maka didn't know the National League very well, and Willie Randolph certainly does from his days with the Mets.
So now you've got Fontenot at third, Terrio at second, who's very fast, and Hill, who runs well also at first, and now Prince Fielder going to come in and play right in front of Hill, and Dempster takes a called strike.
Well, what that tells you is they want Fielder to come home with the ball, maybe, unless the ground ball leads him towards second. If he plays back deep, he has to go to second.
Now, if I'm Lou Piniella, is my worst fear that he actually hits the ball and hits a double play and the inning's over?
I would think so, especially with Soriano coming up next.
Well, there's the play at home from Council 1. And you saw the runner, Fontenot, try to take out Jason Kendall. So they only get the 1 at the plate. And Soriano will hit. Monday Night Baseball tomorrow night on ESPN, 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 Central. Adrian Gonzalez, the great slugger of the Padres. He'll lead the Padres up against David Wright, Jose Reyes, and the Mets. Also Wednesday Night Baseball on ESPN 2 at 7 Eastern. Padres and Mets from New City Field in New York, and that will be part of the Jackie Robinson Day celebration. Steve will be there tomorrow night for the first game, the first official game at City Field. Joe will be there for Jackie Robinson Day on Wednesday on ESPN 2.
Mets lost a tough game today. An error cost them 2 runs, 2 unearned runs against Santana. They lost 2-1 to the Marlins.
Nice save on a one-hopper by Jason Kendall.
Well, they definitely didn't want to start Soriano with a fastball again in the middle of the plate, like the one he hit over the fence in the first inning. So I think Kendall's out talking to him. I think what you have to think about here if you're Suppan, you can't worry about, I can't throw him a fastball. You just have to make a good pitch with it. I mean, you can throw any pitch you want if you locate it properly. So wherever they think the weakness for Soriano is where they have to go.
He's got to throw him a strike here at some point.
There's nowhere to put it. The bases are loaded. Terrio at third, Hill at second, Dempster at first. Check swing and an accidental foul.
About a break right there because I'm not sure that pitch is called a strike. Kind of checked on it a little bit. Catches the bat as it comes around some. I mean, for Jeff Suppan, he's got to find a way to get ahead in the count. You see the ball up out of the zone, the K zone there. Soriano starts to uncoil, and the bat comes with him. But Supan's got to find a way to get ahead in the count where he can get a pitch chased off the plate.
But he's falling behind again. 2-1 the count to Soriano.
He just doesn't have the kind of stuff to throw it in the zone to get Soriano out with the bases loaded.
3 grand slams in his career. 2-1 the Cubs lead. The go-ahead run was walked home in this inning. Corey Hill drew the bases loaded walk. And Supan on throw his 70th pitch of the night. We're only in the 4th inning. 3-1. And he's right on the cusp of walking in another run. I remember Jim Palmer. Remember Palmer never gave up a grand slam in his career. There were times with guys like a fearsome guy like Soriano, especially if Palmer that had trouble, he might just say, well, if I walk him at just the 1 run, I can start with a fresh count on the next guy.
Well, he gave up a grand slam to Johnny Bench in the minor leagues. That was the only one he ever gave up.
It was rehabbing, coming back from an injury early in his career. Well, Soriano refuses to take the walk.
Well, that's why you do not always have to throw a strike to certain hitters. And you see he got a little anxious there, and and Lou's not very happy with that swing.
That's a run.
But what happens is he was looking dead red, looking for a fastball right there, and he didn't get it.
Soriano, other than the home run tonight, had much success against Supan over the years. So the 3 runners ready to go with 2 down. Terrio at third, Hill at second, Dempster at first. There they go. And it's ball 4. And another run is forced in, the second of the inning, walked in.
And the worst thing he could have done is throw the ball where he couldn't swing. The ball at you forces you to get out of the way. If he'd have thrown the pitch away, he may have had a chance to get Soriano to chase something. But by throwing it at him, no chance. He couldn't swing at that. That ball's inside. He tried to stay away. I mean, he was just missing badly. I mean, not one pitch in the strike zone this entire bat. Look at that. Not one pitch.
Now Fukudome off to a hot start this year. Bases loaded, 2 runs in. And a pop foul out of play on the slider. It's 0-1.
He ended up throwing Soriano a 3-2 changeup. 80 miles per hour in that last pitch. Again, not wanting to throw the fastball on a fastball count. Now at least working ahead with Fukudome, it allows him to work a sequence of pitches and try to expand the strike zone.
Jim Palmer's theory, John.
Let's go after this guy now with a fresh count. He's ahead of him. See there?
I have to tell you, I don't believe in that, but okay.
Well, he didn't do it all the time.
I know.
The one time he told me this story, Jim Rice, who hit a lot of home runs again, as Palmer pointed out, though, all solos.
Yeah, but you've also got, when you walk a guy, that's 1 run in as well.
But he said Rice was going to make it 4 runs.
Well,
so he just, okay, that 1 run, I'll start with a fresh count, and the next guy I'll get him, and it'll just be the 1 run in the inning. And the way he tells the story, that's exactly the way it worked out.
It's a little different if you walk him like that, and then you know you can come back and throw strikes on the next guy. It's another thing when you're scattering every pitch you're throwing to the plate.
It's another thing when you don't have Jim Palmer's arm.
Yeah, exactly.
2-1 the count. There's Jorge Julio, a very hard thrower up in the bullpen.
But if you're a manager, John, you sit there and you say throw a strike, because even in batting practice, guys do not hit every ball out of the ballpark. So,
although I will say,
you got to take a chance.
Fukudome hit everyone out of the park in batting practice on this.
Well, not everyone.
Every single one.
Yeah, right.
It was uncanny. No kidding. He launched one after the other. It was a McGuire type show. 3-1. He's just not going to throw any of them a strike.
And you're Ken Mocker, you're standing there. There's nothing. That's the most helpless feeling in the world for a manager. You're standing there. You do not want to take him out. You want to try to get him to go deeper into the game, but it's out of your control.
Helpless was not the look I saw on his face there.
The gum's got a lost its flavor by now, too.
And that's in there for a strike. Fukudome taking all the way, 3-2. Now, why did he take that pitch?
You'd have to ask him, John, because 3-1, down and in fastball, that's where a left-hander wants it. That's exactly where you want the ball.
So it's 3-2 with 2 down. Hill at third, Dempster at second, Soriano at first. There they go. And he gets a walk. And that's 3 in the inning. Walked in by Suppan. Scoring is Hill. It is 4-1. And that is going to be it. Ken Maka has seen more than enough from Suppan. He looked, when we had that shot of him in the night, it just looked like he was seething. Jorge Julio will be summoned. And the Brewers fans are not happy with Suppan, who also got roughed up by the Giants earlier this week. New pitcher coming in to face Derek Lee with the bases loaded.
It seems like a great price, but I better make sure.
Who are they?
Well, they're my low price search party. They help me find the best deals.
Or we could just step over to the Sears Appliance Research Center and check the competition's prices to make sure you're getting the lowest price possible.
We'll be in the food court.
More Energy Star rated appliances than anyone. And now, receive up to $500 via mail-in rebate with select KitchenAid brand appliances. For more, see Sears.com. Sears Blue Appliance Group.
Pretty soon my 401k is going to be my monthly paycheck. You know, so my priority right now is to get all my financial ducks in a row and not make any mistakes.
Well, before, I was quite happy to just let my old 401k sit there and do its thing. Now, that just sounds like madness.
Can you see a photo of the homecoming dress your daughter wants? Provide a constructive response and even suggest an alternate place to shop, all while doing the Saturday crossword? You can now. Introducing the Verizon Hub, the home phone reinvented.
Every spirit needs a little sin.
I feel like breaking all kinds of rules.
She's got a thing for the bling.
Shut up and bleed.
The Spirit on Blu-ray and DVD April 14th.
I thought a complete multivitamin was enough until I learned 1 in 3 men will face prostate issues. And One A Day Men's has more selenium than Centrum to support prostate health. And it supports heart health. That works for me.
1 A Day Men's.
Back in Milwaukee with the bases loaded, the Cubs have 3 runs home. They have only 2 hits in the game, 1 in this inning, but they lead 4-1, and there's ball 1 from Jorge Julio to Derek Lee, the 9th batter of the inning. By the way, Milton Bradley had to leave the game with an injury earlier on here in the 4th inning. We will be chatting with Lou Piniella from the Cubs dugout after the Cubs have finished their at-bat, so stay tuned for that. We may get some more info. The health of Milton Bradley is Julio misses very badly right under the bill of Derek Lee's batting helmet. 2-0.
Fastball gets away from Julio right here. His body rushing out, arm dragging behind, and Derek Lee bending out of the way of that one.
Dempster at third, Soriano at second with great speed. Fukudomi at first. 3-0.
Well, maybe it's the mound, because Dempster even had trouble throwing strikes early in the ball game.
Dempster's walked 3 in 3 innings. Remember the Phillies earlier this week against Atlanta scored 8 runs in the 7th inning, and 3 in a row were walked in. But this is the 3rd in a row walked in, and the 4th walked in the inning, and Julio has not yet thrown a strike.
It's very difficult, I think, to bring somebody like Julio in these situations. He struggles with his control anyway, and now you bring him in with the bases loaded, no margin for error. It's just a tough situation for him to come into. And Suppan, of course, created the situation by not throwing strikes and not wanting to throw strikes, trying to get guys to swing at pitches out of the zone, and they wouldn't do it.
Been 5 walks and a hit batsman in this inning. And here's Reed Johnson. That is a strike.
Well, the worst thing about all of this here is that the Cubs have now batted around and it's messed up my score sheet. So I've got a mess now.
It's also messed up the theory that they were splitting these right-handed hitters up, because now all of a sudden you have Derek Lee, Johnson, and Ramirez in a row again.
The slider, strike 2. So it looks a little bit better now.
Yeah. Well, he takes him a while to adjust to the mound, maybe, or just adjust to the situation.
There's Jeff Suppan looking on from the dugout. He hit the first batter of the inning, Milton Bradley. He started walking people. The slider. Hardy with a second in time with a force out on Lee. With Weeks covered. 10 men back. The Cubs get 4 of them home. All 4 walked in 60 seconds now. We will visit with Lou Piniella from the Cubs dugout. Stay with us.
Miss Davis, this is OnStar. I've received a signal you've been in a crash. I'm contacting emergency services.
OnStar reporting a front-end crash on Wakefield Road. Chevy Malibu, airbags deployed, injuries reported. Please respond.
Ma'am, help is on the way.
Okay, I'll stay on the line with you till they get there.
OnStar, part of Chevy Total Confidence. Your health is your true wealth. Make a smart investment in your health with a VitaPack program only from GNC. Our customized VitaPack regimens give you essential vitamins and supplements with ingredients that support heart health, promote strong bones, and power up energy levels. Stop by GNC and find the VitaPack regimen that's right for you with the help of one of our in-store experts. It's a small investment with a huge healthy return. GNC VitaPack programs. Invest well. Live well. Today and into the future.
Sunday night baseball from Miller Park in Milwaukee. 5-1. The Cubs lead the Brewers. And we're pleased to be joined by the manager of the Chicago Cubs, Lou Piniella. Lou, welcome.
Hey,
well, nice to be on, fellas.
Hey, Lou.
Yes.
What happened to Bradley out there, and it kind of messes up your splitting up those 2 right-handers with the left-hander? Now you have 3 in a row.
3 in a row. Well, he got some tightness in his groin area. And I think it was... he did the right thing pulling up at third, because trying to score on that ball, he might have pulled it. As far as Reed Johnson, you know, he can swing the bat, and at the same time, he plays the outfield really, really well. Dempster's been pitching a good ball game, so we chose to use him instead of Hoffpauir out in right field.
Now, Lou, is Milton Bradley going to be available tomorrow? What can you tell us about Giovanni Soto, your young catcher, and his availability?
Well, he'll be available Wednesday. I think he's ready in emergency right now, but we're not going to use him tomorrow. But Wednesday, the trainer, Mark O'Neill, tells me that he's ready to go. So that's good news for us.
Lou, the game's about to get going again. Many thanks for being with us.
All right, we'll see you next Sunday.
Okay, next Sunday it is. Cubs and Cardinals. Piniella up against La Russa. It's a grudge match, let me tell you.
You know, he's done this before. He's doing promos for us for next week. Either that or he's checking his schedule, wondering when we're coming to town. Right?
Okay, let me just say this. Lou Piniella, the best manager in the game.
The best.
Manager does promos for us. He's my guy.
Not only does he understand managing, he understands television.
He does. He does. Corey Hart, the hitter, against Ryan Dempster. 2-1 the count. So he did have a left-handed hitter, Micah Hoffpauir, that he could have put in rather than the right-handed hitting Johnson. But as he said, Johnson swings the bat pretty well, and he's an excellent defensive player. And that ball is hit well deep into right center field and gone. An opposite field home run for Corey Hart. It's 5-2 Cubs.
And Dempster got a pitch up. And Corey didn't try to pull it. That's what's great. When you have the power that some of these guys have, you do not have to pull the ball. You can go the other way. Plus, the ball was flying out of here during batting practice. There's a pitch, a little breaking ball up and out over the plate. He doesn't try to pull it. Look, it goes to right center. He was going that way all the way. Nice hitting there. Let's take another look at it. And that's why Maka said he was leaving him in, because he's been swinging the bat well.
Strike to Duffy. 0-2 the count. Well, that's exactly what he told us in batting practice. He thought about putting another lefty in there, but he said he's been swinging the bat so well. He doesn't have any numbers at all against Dempster. That's about the most success he's ever had against Dempster, right in front of us here. But he's swung the bat so well lately. Just I have to keep in there.
Ken is still trying to figure out his own team, as well as trying to figure out the National League. Remember, he had managed the Oakland A's. He'd been broadcasting for NESN, the Red Sox Regional Sports Network, so he hasn't really been in touch much with the National League.
And Dempster puts Duffy away for the second time in a row. He struck him out. One away. E60, presented by Ford, is on ESPN Tuesday night at 7 Eastern, 6 Central. One of the features will look inside the art of the stands. There's Major League greats Cal Ripken Jr., Julio Franco, David Wright, and many others will discuss their batting stances. Here's Jason Kendall. That's in there for a called strike.
John, Kendall is 0 for his last 22. 0 for 10 last year, 0 for 12 in this season. So he hasn't had a hit for a while.
You're still holding the end of last year against him?
Well, I think he realizes it, that he hasn't had a hit for a while. But I guess he had a couple in spring training, but we're not going to count that.
Well, remember, there was a time last year when Kendall was really getting on base, working the count, hitting well, where Ned Yost, then the manager, would actually bat him ninth and bat the pitcher eighth so that he would get on base and have somebody on in front of the leadoff man.
Well, I thought the guy in St. Louis invented that.
Tony did that as well.
Tony started doing that quite a bit, and he had a different reason, but Tony did it so that he could hit McGuire third and Pujols third and have them that like they were hitting fourth, trying to get guys on in front of them.
I'd actually make you a deal. If you do that, bat the pitcher eighth and a position player ninth, I'll let you bat Soriano leadoff. That way he's got guys on base in front of him.
Oh, well, my feeling is my philosophy is still not that way. My philosophy is that the worst hitter in the lineup to me should be the seventh hitter, not the eighth hitter, you know, in the normal lineup.
In the National League. Right?
Yeah, in the National League, because you want somebody to get on base for the pitcher. Or so you want somebody to extend the inning so the pitcher can hit. Either way, I don't think your worst hitter should be eighth.
But if the pitcher's hitting eighth, then you want the guy who normally would be hitting
my pitcher's not going to hit eighth.
Where's he going to hit?
My pitcher's going to hit ninth. That's
who's hitting seventh?
In my world, the pitcher hits ninth. In my world, the pitcher hits ninth. You know what I mean?
You said the worst hitter's hitting seventh.
Well, but the pitcher changes every day. The everyday player doesn't change. Your worst everyday hitter.
Okay, so no matter who's hitting seventh, the pitcher's hitting ninth.
My pitcher's hitting ninth.
All right, I get it. Glad you explained that to me.
Yeah, my pitcher's hitting ninth.
I had people text messaging me and whatnot already. So what's Joe talking about? Hitting seventh?
No, we're talking about the position players.
But usually the worst guy's hitting eighth.
Yeah,
but you hit him seventh.
I would hit him seventh. Yes.
And that's all for Jorge Julio. And after the home run by Corey Hart, Dempster strikes out the side. Ken Maka, the new manager of the Brewers. He'll be chatting with us in 60 seconds from the Milwaukee dugout. Stay tuned for that.
Dude, I'm staying. This is West. We're going to be on 10 o'clock Sports Center.
They lay claim to the curve, the rise, the twist. They dig in their heels, demanding nothing less than more, refusing to compromise joy in the name of practicality. We build cars for people like that. We are people like that. All new, all that. Mazda 3.
His parents were among those who marched for civil rights in 1963. Ryan Howard knows the meaning of strength. His parents taught him how to use it. You can see it in his eyes. And you witnessed it when he lifted that trophy. This is beyond inspiration. This is beyond baseball.